rumors of Cyborg fighting Amanda Nunes. Dana White and Brendan Schaub beefing on the Stylebenders Instagram. And much, much more MMA news. What's up, everybody? I'm Dan from Oregon. We're joined today by our man, Joe from H-Town.
What's up, Dan?
Jack shit. And you know what we're here to do? We're here for the truth in MMA every morning. And everybody, let's look into this shit.
It shouldn't be such a big deal. History, science, education, energy, everything has always been controlled by the government since day one. CIA!
Look at the time.
You figure it out. You try to figure it out.
No, it
No,
seems like
because when
people
they
would.
look into it, it's common sense. When you look into it,
I think it's just Cyborg trying to maybe get a new contract. Maybe she wants to fight now. I think she got what, like one fight on the left on her contract. So maybe she wants to extend that contract a little bit. I know a while back she talked about leaving the UFC for whatever reason, but I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Both of them signed contracts on the same day. I mean, what's up with that, Dan?
Dude, I don't have any idea. Apparently, I was muted the whole time, pulling a rookie mistake. Luckily, we got images for all these motherfuckers. Um, how are there two contracts out there? One for September on 228 and one for fucking December. I feel like this was a Photoshop bullshit, dude. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of silly. The fighters nowadays want to pick their shot, and I mean, hell, both of them are champs, man. So both of them pretty much have a right to call their shot. But let's hear some Dana White input, man. How about him chime in here?
Has he posted anything? He blocked me on
No, but
Twitter.
I'm just thinking, well, good for you, man. But this time, when stuff like this happens, it's always good to get the boss to chime in. Like, hey, we got a dispute here. You've got the final word. Say something.
Hmm. Yeah, man. I don't even know. I feel like a lot of how UFC does business now is they let shit work itself out on Twitter. They let, oh, this matchup got built. Now we'll just run with it or some nonsense. There's no hand on the reins. No one's steering this horse or this shit, man. I don't fucking know what's going on. Dana White came out and says, I make 42 fights a year. When I call you for a fight, you better fucking take it. And basically what that means is he only makes pay-per-views. He only makes the main event slot. Main events picked by Dana. The rest of the bullshit Sean and Mick can deal with. It's
Yeah,
nonsense.
that's kind of bullshit move. But that's Dana, man. Dana trashing Ortega for not taking a fight on 2 or 3 days' notice. That was some bullshit. I mean, come on, man. Like, stop throwing your fighters under the bus, man. And then he don't want to pay him. Like, come on, man, pay the guy.
Right? I don't even know. It's like if you don't technically come to the weigh-in and step on that scale, the UFC will figure out a way to not fucking pay you nothing. I don't know. In the past, when it was a hometown company, they used to compensate for things like that. But they're definitely effing Ortega over. And he's just like, nah, man, you didn't fight Stevens on 2 days' notice. Stevens ain't got that big of a name. It looked like Ortega's team was up to fight Frankie. But Frankie got a shot in his shoulder of some bullshit, and he wouldn't be medically cleared for at least 2 weeks, and so he couldn't come in and get it. And after that, that's when Ortega pulled the plug on fighting on that card.
Yeah, it was total bullshit, man. I mean, Ortega, he seems like a great guy, up and coming star, lots of skills. I could see him very well beating Max Holloway and Jeremy Stevens for that matter. So, it's just weird that Dana wants you to buy the pay per view for this guy, but then 2 minutes later he's throwing him under the bus, and then 2 months later he wants you to pay for him again. Like, make up your mind, dude. Does this guy suck or is this guy pay per view worthy?
It's just like everyone's got fucking the short-term itis in life these days. And fucking Dana's one of them as well. What, man, in terms of they're talking about Ortega's team now. They want him to fight on UFC 227, and fucking Stevens is slotted against Aldo right now at the end of the month in this month. He's supposed to be up there. Do you think they're gonna rip that card off of Calgary again? Start ripping Calgary's card apart?
I don't think so because I think 227 has 2 belts, right?
Yeah, and even if you want to put Ortega as the main event because you want to make him a bigger name, I don't think you could put an interim belt, especially above Cody TJ. That's a hell of a rematch they got going on there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll keep Stevens and Aldo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, jumping back to Cyborg versus Nunes, I think this is the time to make it. Let's do it. Fucking, there's not a rightful contender really at bantamweight. I want to see Ketlin Vieira and maybe Holly Holm go at it. See if Ketlin can get that Holly Holm shine. That girl is freaking massive for that division, and I see her giving people problems. She just doesn't have a name, so they're not going to throw her into a 135's belt right away. And then in terms of Cyborg, you know, any tomato can jump in there and get it. They just got to ask for it. Fucking Chael Sonnen says that shit all the time. He's like, you want to know how to get a shot, how to get a title shot right now, how easy it is in the women's featherweight division? All you got to do is ask for it. That's all you got to do is ask for the shot, and you'll fucking get the title shot. And he's almost dead on there. I want to see him be smart, actually. Whatever card this goes on, if we get the super fight Nunes versus Cyborg, let's build up another Cyborg fight. So on the undercard, right below it, I want to see, you know, we're trying to build Megan Anderson into a title shot. Kind of fucked up that one. How about Megan Anderson versus Cindy Dandois? Because that girl's got a 12-3 record. She's not going to be on the next season of Tough. It's another, whichever one wins, you know, we just want to see Cyborg fight somebody anyways. Don't you think?
Well, you said a lot there. So let me go back to making the Cyborg Nunes fight. Absolutely, this is the right time to do it. There's nobody that's a fight either one. To me, that's a big fight. Cyborg has a draw, whether you think so or not, or whether you like her or not. She's a draw. So I hope that fight's sooner than later. I hope we don't have to wait till December to see that. And that way, you got 2 divisions sitting on nothing. So, but you know, you want to see Cindy Dandois, like that's you want to pay to see her fight? Like, are you serious, Dan? I got to call you out on that, man. Have you seen her last couple fights?
Her striking is horrendous, but how am I going to get excited for a Megan Anderson fight? I'll tell you how. Cindy Dandois is kind of actually a 145er, and she holds a win over Anderson. I mean, just give me any sort of storyline whatsoever to grasp onto. That's all I want from the UFC, and that's almost, you know, if we think that Cindy Dandois sucks, then that's almost a guaranteed win for Megan Anderson, meaning if fucking Cyborg wins, we can kind of slot her in there and act like that Holly Holm thing never happened. Because, I mean, Holly pieced her up, but it looked like Megan showed some decent striking there in her first, like, 1 minute burst of actual offense she got before, you know, Holly did the damn thing. So that's all I want is give me some storyline. Build me up something. Let me know what's next. I think the UFC lacks on doing that.
Yeah, have you seen the 145 rankings on the UFC website?
No, I think it says like not available at this time.
There's nobody there. There's no stories there, so that should tell you something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's 11 divisions in the UFC plus Cyborg. That's what I say. There's not a 145-pound division. There's just the Cyborg division. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that, dude. There's nothing wrong with that. Rizin wants to be in the Gabby Garcia business. Go for it, man. UFC wants to be in the Cyborg business. I wish you could pick up more of the good contenders from like Bellator and shit, but it is what it is in terms of that shit. That's how I'm looking at it.
You just dropped it is what it is, didn't you, huh?
Just because Max is gone. Why not?
Poor Max, man. I feel bad for that guy. I hope he gets something too, and man, I hope he gets healthy, man. That dude's a talented fighter too. To see him going through the things he's going through right now, that's kind of crazy for him.
Yeah, man, I would love some more clarity on if we're actually talking like concussion symptoms, if we're talking weight cut issues. If it's a weight cut issue, man, I don't ever want to see him down there. And that's why I think we should get an interim belt probably at that division.
Yeah, you might be right. But I just we saw his coaches come out saying what were they saying about him?
I heard water poisoning.
No, they were saying concussion-like symptoms. Well, how about come out and tell us whether or not he got a concussion in training or not? I mean, we've seen fighters get knocked out in training before, so after the fact, we find out that if you got a concussion, why don't you let us know?
Man, they didn't even let anybody know. They didn't let the questionnaire know. They didn't let the commission know. They didn't let fucking the matchmakers know or anything. Fucking Michael Bisping called that shit out, man. That shit was crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you told us before the fight you had concussion-like symptoms. So it's after the fact. Tell us right now if he had a concussion or not.
Mm-hmm. I think they don't want to mess up anything in the future. And you know how these fighters go, dude. They're just they're not going to disclose anything to you and see what they can get away with. Cowboy Cerrone will just come out and tell you that.
That's coming in with a broken foot. I mean, just whatever. You're right. Whatever they can get away with, they're going to fight and make their money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to talk about Chiesa, man. I had a bet on Chiesa, Black Beast, and Cormier.
Mm-hmm.
$50 to win, $1,000, and Chiesa just blew that for me, man. I hate Chiesa.
You picked the Black Beast. I'm glad you were smart in that regard. A lot of people weren't showing love to the Houston native, man.
Man, Black Beast dominated Francis Ngannou. Dominated him.
Mm-hmm. I called Junkie when Uriah Hall was on. I didn't realize they were all training partners and shit. And I was like, dude, Francis Ngannou is taking out all the old all the old dudes with no chin anymore. And all strikers, no wrestlers. They were putting him up against all those guys, and he was getting victories right before the Stipe fight. I was like, we haven't seen this guy tested at all. And Uriah's like, whoa, dude. And then fucking even the Junkie guys. And look at me, man. I look like fucking Mystic Mac now.
You look like Mystic Mac, I'll tell you that much.
That's what's up. Yo, so Chiesa, I think he's the quintessential 165-pounder. Fucking Jorge Masvidal, Cowboy, Kevin Lee, Nate Diaz. You can make a whole division out of it. It's super easy. 30% of your roster is at 155 and 170. I think he needs to go there because, man, every time he rolls up to somebody in like the top 5 or something, he gets taken out quick. He just kind of proves that he's more in that top 10 range.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. They have like 200 fighters in those two-weight classes, and to not split that up to create another one just to save the legacy for the 170-pound crown, like that's pretty ridiculous, man. Who cares? God bless Matt Hughes, but who cares about Matt Hughes right now? Who cares about GSP right now? Let's make another division. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, man. Let's let somebody die first before you do the division, Dana. How about that?
It sounds like what's going to happen.
Yeah, right. It's just ridiculous, man.
Man, I was crunching the numbers, and when people were talking about the NCAA and how it expanded to a 4-team playoff, and there was a big old discussion on should it jump to an 8-team playoff, and I'm totally on board with that, 100%. And they did the numbers. They were like, man, if you're in the NCAA, you only have like a 0.7% chance of getting into the playoffs, or maybe it's 3%, and fucking whatever they did, they're like, you jump into 8 teams, and way more teams have an availability to get in there. Well, then I crunched the numbers on all the divisions, and heavyweight had like a 3% chance, flyweights had like 3%, and then you get down to the featherweight shit, and you had like half of a percentage of ever getting a title shot because of how many people are in the division. It's fucking crazy, man. Opportunity is a huge reason why I want to see it, and I want to see Max Holloway when he gets older. I want to see him have a division to grow into that doesn't have fucking giants inside of it. Darren Till, he needs a division to grow into. A lot of these we're only paying attention on these old dudes that, you know, have been in the same division the whole time. It's like, yo, what about these guys that are just getting bigger, like Jake Matthews and shit?
Yeah, Max Holloway is pretty big for his weight class, man. I gotta tell you, man, I met him before, and I don't know how he makes 145, but yeah, it's just silly, man. Just do it already, man. Come on, man. You're going out to ESPN next year, man. You know, hey, man, let's throw a 165-pound championship fight on the network. Come on, man.
Ooh, ooh. Yeah, I think you just stumbled onto something there, Joe. So, what if that's the whole reason that they're delaying it? Because right now, Bellator is doing tournaments, and tournaments are bringing in ratings. The heavyweight thing, yeah, it's got big old names, and it's kind of working, but they just announced the welterweight Grand Prix that they're going to do. That's their most stacked division. I think that's a no-brainer, but I also like to think of, like, what if I was the UFC? You know, what if I was running that company? I would want to fuck over Bellator in every move they make all the time. And so that's why you take over every Saturday night, you know, all across the year, and you run 42 cars a year so they don't have any room. Also, if they're doing a welterweight Grand Prix, be like, oh, you know what? We just decided we're going to split up our welterweight division and do a Grand Prix for 65 and 75. How about that, Bellator? What do you think of that news?
You know what? I don't care. I don't think UFC cares about Bellator anymore, man. To be honest with you, man. You see their ratings are going down the tubes. I just don't think the UFC rasses in the offices thinking about, okay, how can we squash Bellator today? I don't think that's happening anymore, Dan.
God damn. I love the old fucking mob ran UFC, bro. That's what I
Right,
love.
right. Proceed to left, went downhill.
Yeah, Jesus. All right, let's see what other topics I had here. I got a Mike Bond tweet. That's got to be pretty good. Bagloy Ivanov is set to become the first heavyweight to headline a UFC card in his promotional debut since Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar on UFC 141. What do you know about this Bagloy guy? Are you stoked for this shit, Joe?
Man, I'm not stoked for anything anymore, UFC, to be honest with you, man. um,
I'm stoked because I'm
he's
going
just
there
another guy.
live.
Oh, you are? Okay, cool, man. He's just another guy to me. I mean, and what is JDS? I mean, Kane pretty much destroyed him, so I don't see him as anything else than another guy either. I mean, I think Blagoy is going to demolish JDS, and you know, as far as this tweet that Mike Bond, yeah, you might be the only one, Dan, that cares about that tweet.
Man, well, let me tell you about Blagoy. This motherfucker beat Fedor Emelianenko back in 2008. And when Fedor was a four-time combat jiu-jitsu champion, he beat him. 2012, I think you could see the scar right below his sternum or whatever. He's got a massive stab wound where it looks like they stuck him with a knife and twisted that motherfucker because it's like a fucking circle size. He got stabbed in the lung and the heart and almost died. Then, like, went 4 and something in Bellator, lost to Alexander Volkov. So if he wins, it really solidifies Volkov as a number one contender. But more importantly, I don't know, dude. I think who mentioned it? Someone had mentioned that he's managed by Ali Abdelaziz, and so he's definitely fucking. He thinks he can win this fight, 100%.
Yeah, he's going to win. He is going to beat JDS. JDS is a really nice guy, really coming off a steroid thing, to be honest with you. You know, we forget about that. Blagoy is going to demolish JDS.
See him coming deflated. I did recognize that after the Kane fights, he wasn't looking great. But then in his last one, I had picked against him, and he fucking let me down. The fucking whoever JDS beat the last guy he fought, whoever it was, and then popped for the roids. Anyhow, yeah, I might be the only one fucking stoked for that shit because I'm gonna be there live at Boise. A lot of hate for the Boise card, even though it's so stacked. People are like, "Where the fuck is Boise?"
Nice fights on there. There's some nice fights on there. Volkanovski against Elkins, which we talked about earlier. How is that not on the main card? That's a great fight.
Yeah. And then I do got some JDS gift here from Kyle Johnson, Maldo Babo on Twitter, and fucking him head kicking Mark Hunt. I just wonder if he's gonna be a shell of himself, if he's gonna show up deflated, or if we're gonna see some crazy boxing from him. Because that other guy likes to stand too, but he's been training at Extreme Couture and at AKA with DC, so you gotta assume he's got, with that Sambo and training with DC, he's got good fucking wrestling on him.
Yeah, he's quick with the hands too. He's pretty explosive for his weight. I mean, he could throw down. So it's funny, that you bring up Extreme Couture. The Junkie Gathering one year, we were at Extreme Couture watching the guys train or whatever, and Lagoy is just sitting there by himself, and I don't think anybody recognized him, except me, I guess. So he's pretty unknown to the casual MMA UFC fans. So he's gonna surprise a lot of people. I'm not gonna be surprised, but a lot of people are gonna be surprised when he demolishes JDS.
Henry Ford, if you're not familiar, this is Joe from Houston, a MMAjunkie radio OG. Check him out, calling in the radio all the time. That's who that is. Okay, so Volkanovski versus Elkins, 14-fight win streak versus a 6-fight win streak. This is the people's main event, in my opinion. Maybe the casuals are picking Sage Northcutt as their people's main event. And if I got to pick a women's one as well, Jennifer Maia versus Liz Carmouche. I'm actually stoked for that one on the Fight Pass exclusive. But I got to get a breakdown from you, Joe Daddy. Who do you got, Elkins or Volkanovski?
I think Volkanovski is the more talented fighter, so I'm going to go with him. Elkins tends to get beat up and then come back, and he's a scrappy fighter, no doubt. But I think with the talent level alone, Volkanovski is going to have enough to take out Elkins.
Man, I love Elkins. After he got that comeback of the year, I don't care what the World MMA Award says. That was fucking bullshit. What he did to Mirsad Bektic and that roar that he gave out was just primal. It was fucking up there with that Kat Zingano win that she had gotten. But with that said, he's got 6 victories in a row. It was a hard split decision against Dennis Bermudez, who was a little bit more technical, and he was able to take out Michael Johnson, who we know can flutter when it comes to his game plan. I think you're right. Volkanovski's is more technical. He's going to come in a little bit more sound and get the decision victory here.
I gotta go back to why they're not on the main card. Dana wants to question why nobody wants to pay for certain fighters. Well, I mean, you bury them on the prelims. I mean, how is anybody going to watch these guys and enough to want to pay to watch them fight? I mean, that is a damn solid fight right there, and it's buried on the prelims.
It's crazy. Bermudez and Glenn is your 3rd fight on the card. He just beat Bermudez 2 fights ago. Darren Elkins did.
Right.
And Volkanovski, people don't know his name, yeah, but he's running a 14-fight win streak right fucking now. That kind of means something, man. And, yeah, you're totally right. Chad Mendez, these guys, 4 featherweights are above him. And you know what? I listen to Jack Slack's podcast, and he touches on this shit all the time. He's like, why the fuck would anyone care about the flyweight division when you got the contenders on the Fight Pass prelims? No one's going to care who DJ fights because you don't make us care.
Yeah, they buried Joe B on the last couple cards ago, and man, that was pretty unfortunate. Him and Pettis fought on the prelims, and why don't you bury the steroid guy? Chad Mendes coming back from a steroid catch. Bury that guy.
I mean, I get the whole Sage Northcutt one, but even Randy Brown, Nico Price, yeah, there's 2 prospects there, and that'll be fun, but that should have been any. I could name, basically, besides Dos Anjos and Ivanov and Zingano and Marion Renault, those are the only ones that deserve them to be on the main card just as much as Elkins and Volkanovski, in my opinion.
Well, let's talk about the Zingano fight. I mean, Zingano against Marion Renault, that's a pretty solid fight also. I mean, everybody wants to talk about their looks. I mean, yeah, there's two pretty ladies, but they're two pretty good scrappers too, man. So I'm pretty excited for that. That was supposed to happen a while back, and now we get to see it in Boise, Idaho.
Mm-hmm. I think where were they gonna put that? They were putting it in some weird location before it got scrapped. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
down
I
for
can't remember.
that. Both moms, Renault, coming off like 3 fights in a row that she won or something, and she had some draw in the middle of there too. That I thought she got that victory. And Zingano going the other way in her trajectory on like a 3 fight losing streak, and they're gonna meet up. I don't know, man. We've seen Zingano do great things, but momentum is just not going her way in this fight.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna win. I mean, I haven't really paid attention to their training and Instagram, Twitter accounts at all, but to see who they're training with, see how they're doing. I just want to see that fight. I mean, like I said, it was supposed to be made a while back, and we get to see it. Well, you get to see it live in the great state of Ohio. So I bet you're pretty excited, right?
Hell yeah, man. I think I'm going to stumble into this card around 4:30. I'll show up for Carmouche versus Maya. Just because when I was in Glendale, me and my brother were there for 7.5 hours watching the whole card. And I was just, my brother fell asleep on the co-main event. I'll give it to him, dude. He stuck it out a long ass time. He made it to the co-main event and fell asleep during the Carlos Condit fight. Can you believe that?
Well, you brought it up, man. 7 hours. That's just too long. I mean, when I first started going to cards, 10, 12 years ago, I was doing that, but not anymore, man. I'll show up halfway, man. So three and a
Mm-hmm.
half and halfway through, I'll pull up, when the final, prelim is shown. But 7 hours, no way. Drinking for that long, especially, man, I
Yeah.
can't do it anymore.
I know. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna smuggle in all my booze. Last time I just had a little, basically flask of vodka that I was adding to my drinks. Cause man, you can't handle fucking 8, $10 a beer. That'll get you quick.
Yeah, you're right.
Fuck. All right. What else do we got here? Ooh, Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya. This guy, man. This guy's definitely a new star in the making, and he impressed my ass with his takedown defense. I knew he had the striking prowess coming in, especially down there in that New Zealand scene and whatnot. But seeing him take out Brad Tavares, I saw a lot of people out there that were like, nope, this is too much, too quick. He was able to get the job done and basically clean sweep this guy. What'd you think of that performance, Joe?
Yeah, really impressive, man. But I thought we were going to talk about his tweet. Let's talk
Hell
about
yeah.
the last couple. Talk about the last couple of tweets. About he wants to fuck some dude in the ass. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Anyhow, yep. Leading on to the next thing was his tweet to Derek Brunson, which, man, I think I got that saved somewhere. Um, Derek Brunson tells him, hey, the gender bender, or some bullshit. Hold on. Let me hear what you got to say, and I'll pull up the tweet, Joe.
Yeah, I just don't understand. This guy is a potential superstar, and he wants to throw these kind of tweets out. I mean, come on, man. You want to build your name, off of fights, off of stuff you say and on the mic. You don't want to bring up that kind of stuff, man. To me that brought him down a little bit. I almost wanted to click that unfollow button from him when he tweeted that. I mean, yeah, you want to talk trash and you want to be tough guy, big guy, but come on, man. And then to use the a slur against the gay community. I mean, that's just not the way to do it, man. He took a step down, in my opinion.
Mm. A lot of people had that take. I think I'm going to go the opposite direction. I can't stand the PC shit that's going on in this country. And there's few countries out there that aren't into it. Russia, Poland, it looks like New Zealand, and these other folks where they don't give a fuck. I mean, he's quoting the great Mike Tyson, and I've seen this clip. Everyone's seen this clip. But I think he's just I don't know. He deleted it. He had to delete this shit, so someone from the UFC got to him and said, "Yo, bro, that shit ain't cool. This ain't gonna fly."
Yeah, that's not the way to go. That's not the way to go about building up your name and wanting people to watch you fight and tune into your fights and pay for you to fight. I mean, you just knocked off 30% of the community here. So, I just I'm not cool with that, man. I'm just not cool with that. What about the other thing with Brendan Schaub? Did you bring that up?
No, not yet. That will be what we're
Oh
kind of
man,
gonna close out on. And so
Brendan
what?
Schaub. I see that guy as a. I'm not a fan at all, to be honest with you, but the guy has a big following, so I kind of saw that guy as maybe somebody to bring back. The UFC is all about draws. This guy's got a big following. I thought they would maybe bring him back for a fight, but I don't think not anymore after the interaction he had with Dana White.
Bring him back into fighting? Oh, I don't know if he'd come back for that. But yeah, so what happens? Fucking Israel posts something on what looks like Instagram or Snapchat, and he's making emojis and like laughing faces when Brennan is talking about the UFC 226 card. And apparently he was talking about some up and coming prospects that they're moving too fast.
Well, he was talking about how guys from other sports, kickboxing, boxing, coming into MMA, and it's not the same. Which I kind of agree with him. It's not the same. He was really talking about Gokansaki coming into
Mm-hmm.
from kickboxing, a decorated kickboxer, and then he gets knocked out with one punch. He was basically talking about it's not the same as far as distance and hand movement and positioning, and it's not the same coming into MMA. It's not, and I guess Adesanya thought he was talking about him, but that was pretty funny, the interaction with him and Dana.
Fuck, I'm trying to pull up these tweets. So
It was on
Dana
Instagram.
Dana White was the first one to go up and do it, right?
Yeah, it was on Instagram. It's on MMA fighting also too. So
Okay, I was jumping to secret moves because I know he had pictures of it somewhere.
yeah, Dana is just trashing on. Don't listen to a guy who's been knocked out so many times in the UFC. Don't listen to a guy like that.
I'm a hipster dork who complains too much. Or no, Kikasa. Wait, what the fuck? The chat's going crazy. Dan wants Kessa to sit on his face and Megan to sit on his lawn picking weeds and shit. There's some weird ass people in the chat. Okay, so MMA fighting's got it, you say?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they posted it. Just a little back and forth between Dana White and Brendan Schaub. Dana trashing, of course, trashing another guy, saying he was like 6-5 in UFC. He got knocked out a bunch of times. Don't listen to a guy like that. So, oh boy, poor Dana. And nothing better to do than to troll on Instagram and Twitter.
God damn it.
Look at you. It was on Instagram. I want to say maybe I just Instagram, but
I had it pulled up. I just accidentally closed it.
mm.
Okay.
Yeah, never been a Shaw fan. Never been a Shaw fan. He got the rub from Joe Rogan on the podcast, and ever since then, his name blew up. He's doing all kinds of shows, and good for him. I can't believe so many dum dums want to follow a guy like that to grow his fan base. That's kind of crazy. I don't know anybody that likes Brendan Shaw, but that's pretty crazy that he's gotten so big with what he's done in the cage. I mean, nothing really. He got the rub from Joe Rogan, and his career took off. So good for him.
Right. Fucking, that's all it takes, man. Joe Rogan.
I'm trying to get the rub from you right now, so you're gonna make me into a star. So whatever, man.
That's what's up. Everyone follow Joe from Houston at JoeDaddy85. Link in the description below, I believe. And yes, let's get the exact wording on this shit. Fucking taking up too much of the internet. Oh no! We lost Joe Daddy.
Oh, that's my.
Now you're back. Oh, there we go.
You still got me, Dan?
Yeah, it switched up the settings a little bit. Hold on. Whoop. Now we're good.
All right.
Okay, so Dana White says, such a fucking tool. What the fuck does this idiot know about the sport or the business? Stylebender, for you to be listening to one word from this moron is waste of your time. Guy went 6-5 in the UFC, and the only thing he can teach you is how to get knocked the fuck out, KO'd. Tune idiots like this out. Schaub comes out. You're a monster. I was referring to guys with little MMA experience. Quote unquote, Saki was my main point, coming straight to the UFC or other major MMA leagues. You have a ton of experience in MMA before getting to the UFC. And then Schaub again. Woo! Look who got a break from folding Ronda's laundry to jump on Instagram. Bravo, sir. He's right, Stylebender. What do I know? Listen to the bald fat guy who never been in a fight in his life. Do that, crying face. And I guess Dana didn't respond to that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, man.
That's nuts.
Got nothing else to do to get back on Twitter or Instagram and troll people. But that's Dana, man. He sits in his office all day and he says he don't read anything. He don't know the headlines, man. He's in his office doing that every day, man.
Yeah. Hey, the chat wants to know, is Betch Correa an elite level striker? Is she a GOAT, Joe Daddy?
She should really go to kickboxing. That's how good her striking is. Her striking is on point. She should be a decorated kickboxing champion. She should go on to defeat Tiffany Van Soest.
Easy. Yo, and then we got some more fight announcements from Big Marshall 24. Give him a follow on Twitter. Mickey Gall versus George Sullivan is going to happen in Lincoln, Nebraska. We haven't seen Mickey Gall in a while. I like what he did to CM Punk. I like what he did to Sage Northcutt. He kind of ran into Randy Brown there and took a decision loss. Do you think they matched him up for a victory here with this young up-and-coming potential star, Joe Daddy?
Yeah, I think George Sullivan's another guy coming off a drug suspension. So, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get these drug users out the sport. Let's match them up with a good guy and get them beat down. Mickey Gall's got a lot of talent. Brown belt jiu-jitsu. I think he can take him out.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for that shit. And I think that's about all for topics that I got today. Joe Daddy, what do you got? Anything else you want to bring up?
And I got my son in bed. I can't believe he's still asleep. My wife and kid are on the way home. They're about to barge in on me and bring me some lunch, hopefully. So, man, I really appreciate you bringing me on here, man. It was pretty fun to talk MMA. We don't get to talk a lot, and man, I got a lot of shit to say, man. I'll say it. So, yeah, thanks for bringing me on, Dan.
No problem. I'm gonna try and get a bunch of MMA junkies into this stream, introduce them to a bunch of these MMA people, MMA holes that I've brought together, try and join these communities. And Joe, you're definitely welcome to come back and even maybe be a co-host for some future Fight Pass and Chills if you ever want to come watch some prelims with us.
Cool, man. Not no 7 hours worth of stuff, but maybe half that.
Oh yeah. I usually do like 2-hour blocks is what I'll sign up for. All right, everyone, be sure go to the link in the description below. Follow Joe Daddy 85. Tune in to MMA Junkie Radio to get all his great calls. And until next time, back to you, sickos. We're out of here.